explain to the listeners what Connect and Sell is.
Well, it's pretty simple. I mean, it's really hard to get people on the phone because
Yeah.
everything goes to voicemail. That's actually the issue. It's not that they don't answer per se. It's that when they don't answer, they have a convenience, which is, you get shown the door, which is voicemail. And voicemail is pretty much a dead letter box. So it's hard to get live conversations. And yet, if you can get them, it's magical. My wife, Helen Fanucci, when she finally used Connect and Sell after we've known each other not that long, maybe 5 years, and it had been at the end of her Microsoft career, she says, I want to try this thing. So I get her a log in and get her a coach, and she's an MIT trained mechanical engineer. So she has these stringent requirements for the people she's going to call, and she researches them and does all this stuff. And I go leave the house and go on a long barefoot run because in one of the very many ways in which I show that I'm not very smart, I also do barefoot endurance running. And I come back in a couple hours and it's like, so what'd you think, Helen? She says two things. One is, I go to push the button. We go up pushing the button. So Connect and Sell lets you push the button, wait a little bit, pet your cat. Not my wife. She doesn't like animals, but pet your cat, drink your coffee, look out the window, and then boom, suddenly you're talking to somebody. And to that person, it's a normal phone call, no funny business. And to you, you just saved an hour of dialing, navigating phone systems, and going to voicemail over and over. So from her experience, I said, well, what is it? What do you like? What do you not like? And she goes, well, greatest weight loss program ever. My heart rate was 161, according to my Fitbit, when I wanted to press the button. Right, Dan? Dan's laughing because he's been there. Every time you use this damn product, your heart rate will go up. You can just go back and look at it on your stats, right? And I said, well, what else? And she goes, what I didn't get, and now I get, is the business power of getting the undivided attention of another human being who might mean something to your business and vice versa. What I didn't get is you slice through all the noise and you're now in their midbrain. And that's where you need to be in business. And, Connect and Sell is just about this one thing, which is in business. In B2B, buyers are cautious because they're not risking their money, they're risking their career. And when your career's on the line, and with every purchase, every considered purchase as a business person, you're putting your career on the line. And so who are you going to buy from? Anthony Iannarino. I'm here right now at Outbound, right? Outbound's a big conference for folks who do outbound of all things, like to call people. And Anthony's got a book, Elite Sales Strategies, and an intro to his book opens with this quote: people buy from people they trust to make a decision they don't trust themselves to make. And that's actually true. That's probably the deepest truth I've ever heard uttered about business. Now, sadly, that quote was me. And Iannarino didn't tell me that he used me in the book, but at least he attributed the quote. So I just slapped him around a little bit. But, it is one of those things that you can push a button and talk to somebody. Now, how does it work on the inside? Who knows? It's got all sorts of things in there. It's got AI, it's got human beings, it's got technology. But from your perspective as a business to business salesperson, it's literally this: load a list out of your CRM or a file, take a deep breath, because you got to get your heart rate down about 150, push the button, talk to somebody.
And am I just waiting, Chris? Like, so I'm on duty. I press the button. Is there, obviously they're not just flooding into my headset. It could be 2 minutes. It could be 22 minutes before there's a live person that pops into my headset. Is that how it works?
You bet. They pop in. Yeah. It could be 2 minutes, could be 30 minutes. Generally it's about 3 or 4. They pop in, you hear a little bleep, bloop, and it pops up on the screen, shows you who you're talking with, what you're talking with them about. If it's a first conversation, we very strictly call a cold call a first conversation with somebody, an unscheduled conversation. Could be a follow-up because you decided with somebody you talked to, you want to talk to them again in the future, and you'll put them in what we call their follow-up list, and they magically show up in your list on the right day. And then you've got a little teleprompter because you knew what you wanted to say to get the conversation going. So we have people who have, 2,000-3,000 people in their follow-up list. It's everybody's favorite list because you already talked to them once, but they never remember you. Who remembers who was called by some cold caller, right? I mean, most people say they never answer the phone. I heard that today one time. I'm trying to think of when. Somebody said he never answers the phone, right? Everybody says they never answer the phone. Mm-hmm. Well, 11 million times a year, we have reasonable evidence the senior decision makers answer the phone because they answer the phone.
So really it comes down to, as you said, it's my list. So let me back up a little bit. So the service is I'm contracting with ConnectAndSell, and what I normally would, if cold calling is part of our biz dev strategy, then I've got people. First of all, we always did a really shitty job tracking how many calls and what the results were. We until it was in a pipeline, but we didn't really. I knew there was a lot of non-profitable behavior around that, but I never really measured that. So we're contracting, and the automated service you provide sort of eliminates my humans wasting all that time. So their time is really spent responding to the live person, which is my contact list. So it isn't the secretary I'm getting, it's whoever we have in that list we've provided or entered into the technology, into the app, right?
That's right. Now you can choose to run a protocol that we have called Connect on Live Voice, in which you do get to talk to gatekeepers. And very experienced sales reps actually kind of like that because they can do something with that information.
Right.
But then they're not doing any of the mechanics. There's not only no dialing, there's no navigating phone systems, there's no dealing with voicemails. It's just talking to people. And then it keeps track of everything that happened. It'll also transcribe the call for you, so you don't have to do that. It'll take notes for you. It'll do summarization. It'll set a disposition for you if you're too lazy to do that. It'll keep track of your follow-ups and make sure that they pop in the list at the right time. It'll update your CRM for you because who wants to do that? So you just talk to people.